Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we are learning about another powerful and controversial figure, Donald Trump. This story is for Level 2 learners, so the vocabulary and sentence structures will be a bit more advanced than our beginner stories. Like our story about Vladimir Putin, this one is about a real, living political leader, and people around the world disagree strongly about how to judge his career. I will try to present the facts clearly and fairly, so you can think about them for yourself. Let's begin. Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946, in Queens, New York City. His father, Fred Trump, was a successful real estate developer who built and managed apartment buildings across New York's outer boroughs. Growing up, Donald was known as a confident, energetic, and sometimes difficult child. His parents eventually sent him to a military boarding school, hoping the strict discipline would help channel his strong personality into something productive. After attending Fordham University for 2 years, Trump transferred to the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School, one of the most respected business schools in the country. He graduated in 1968 with a degree in economics. Soon after, he began working full-time for his father's company, eventually taking control of it and renaming it the Trump Organization. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Trump expanded aggressively into Manhattan real estate, a much more prestigious and competitive market than his father's outer borough buildings. He built the Grand Hyatt Hotel, renovated the Commodore Hotel, and constructed Trump Tower, a gleaming skyscraper on Fifth Avenue that became his signature project and personal residence. He also expanded into casinos in Atlantic City, airlines, and even a short-lived professional football league. During this period, Trump also worked hard to build a personal brand that went far beyond real estate itself. He licensed his name to buildings he did not actually own or develop, allowing other companies to put Trump on their properties in exchange for a fee. He appeared frequently in newspapers and magazines, often generating attention through bold, confident statements about his own success. This combination of business activity and constant media visibility became a defining pattern throughout his entire career, long before he entered politics. Trump cultivated a very public, flashy image throughout this period. He wrote a best-selling book called The Art of the Deal in 1987, which presented him as a brilliant, fearless negotiator. However, his business record during these decades was more complicated than his public image suggested. Several of his companies, including some of his Atlantic City casinos, filed for bankruptcy protection, a legal process businesses use when they cannot pay their debts. Trump has argued that these bankruptcies were smart legal strategies that protected his personal wealth, while critics point to them as evidence of poor business management. In 2004, Trump's public profile grew enormously when he began hosting a reality television show called The Apprentice. On the show, contestants competed for a job within Trump's company, and each episode ended with Trump looking into the camera and telling one contestant, "You're fired." The show was a major rating success and introduced Trump as a confident, decisive businessman to millions of American households who had never followed New York real estate news. The show ran for many seasons and later included a celebrity version, further increasing Trump's fame far beyond the business and finance circles where he had previously been known. Trump has been married 3 times and has 5 children. Several of his adult children, including Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, and Ivanka Trump, worked closely within the Trump Organization for years, and some later took on visible roles connected to his political career as well. This blending of family business and public political life became another distinctive feature of Trump's career, drawing both support from those who saw it as a close-knit family enterprise and criticism from those concerned about conflicts of interest between private business and public office. Trump had flirted with the idea of running for president for many years, even considering campaigns in earlier decades. In June 2015, he formally announced his candidacy for the 2016 Republican presidential nomination, descending a golden escalator in Trump Tower to deliver his announcement speech. Very few political experts took his campaign seriously at first. His unconventional style, willingness to say things other politicians avoided, and his outsider status, someone who had never held political office, set him apart from the other candidates. Trump's campaign focused heavily on immigration restriction, renegotiating trade deals, and a promise to make America great again, a slogan that became closely associated with his political movement. During the Republican primary season, Trump faced more than a dozen other candidates. Many of them experienced governors and senators. He defeated all of them, often through large, energetic rallies and blunt, memorable nicknames he gave his opponents, a style political commentators had never seen used so effectively before in a major American campaign. He won the Republican nomination and then defeated Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton in the November 2016 general election, despite losing the nationwide popular vote, winning instead through the Electoral College system used in American presidential elections. His victory shocked pollsters and political analysts around the world, most of whom had predicted a comfortable win for Clinton right up until election night itself. As the 45th president from 2017 to 2021, Trump pursued significant tax cuts, appointed 3 conservative justices to the Supreme Court, withdrew the United States from several international agreements, including the Paris Climate Accord, and pushed for stricter immigration enforcement, including construction of new sections of a wall along the border with Mexico. He also launched an aggressive trade dispute with China, imposing tariffs on billions of dollars of Chinese goods, arguing this would protect American manufacturing jobs, while critics warned it would raise prices for American consumers and businesses. In early 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic became the defining crisis of Trump's first term. His administration launched Operation Warp Speed, an effort to accelerate vaccine development, which many public health experts later credited with helping produce effective vaccines faster than most scientists had thought possible. At the same time, Trump faced significant criticism for downplaying the severity of the virus in its early months and for promoting some unproven treatments, a combination that public health officials argue contributed to public confusion during a critical period of the outbreak. His presidency was also marked by significant controversy beyond the pandemic. He was impeached by the House of Representatives twice, first in 2019 related to a phone call with Ukraine's president, and again in January 2021 related to the events of January 6th, when a large crowd of his supporters stormed the United States Capitol building, attempting to stop Congress from certifying his election loss to Joe Biden. In both cases, the Senate voted to acquit him, meaning he was not removed from office. After leaving office in January 2021, Trump remained an extremely influential figure within the Republican Party. He continued to claim, without providing evidence accepted by courts or election officials, that the 2020 election had been stolen from him through widespread fraud. These claims were investigated and rejected by numerous courts, election officials from both political parties, and Trump's own former attorney general. Nonetheless, a large portion of his supporters continued to believe these claims, and surveys throughout the following years consistently showed a significant share of Republican voters agreeing with Trump's version of events, despite the lack of supporting evidence recognized by the courts. In the years following his first term, Trump faced multiple criminal indictments, an almost unprecedented situation for a former American president. These cases involved allegations related to his handling of classified documents after leaving office, his efforts to overturn the 2020 election results, and a New York case involving payments made to cover up an alleged affair before the 2016 election. Separately, a civil jury also found Trump liable for sexual abuse in a case brought by writer E. Jean Carroll, ordering him to pay significant damages, a verdict he has continued to appeal. In 2024, a New York jury found him guilty on felony charges in the business records case, making him the first former or sitting American president ever convicted of a crime. Trump has consistently denied all wrongdoing in every case, describing the prosecutions as politically motivated attacks by his opponents. After winning the 2024 election, the federal cases against him were dropped, based on long-standing Justice Department policy against prosecuting a sitting president. During his 2024 campaign for a second term, Trump survived an assassination attempt in July 2024, when a gunman fired shots at a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, grazing Trump's ear and injuring several audience members, one fatally. Trump was quickly surrounded by Secret Service agents and raised his fist to the crowd, an image that became one of the most widely shared photographs of his campaign. In November 2024, Trump won the presidential election again, defeating Democratic candidate Kamala Harris and becoming only the second president in American history, after Grover Cleveland in the 1800s, to serve two separate, non-consecutive terms. He was inaugurated as the 47th president on January 20th, 2025. His return to power drew intense reactions around the world. Some foreign leaders and allies expressed concern about potential changes to long-standing American alliances and trade relationships, while other governments, particularly some in Europe and elsewhere, who shared similar political approaches, welcomed his return as a sign of changing political winds beyond just the United States itself. Since returning to office, Trump's second term has been marked by rapid, aggressive action. He has signed an unusually large number of executive orders, imposed broad new tariffs on imported goods from many countries, significantly reduced the size of the federal government workforce, intensified immigration enforcement operations, and deployed National Guard troops to several American cities. A controversial move that critics argue oversteps normal presidential authority over domestic law enforcement. His administration also passed a large tax and spending package through Congress. Since returning to office, Trump's second term has been marked by rapid, aggressive action. He has signed an unusually large number of executive orders, imposed broad new tariffs on imported goods from many countries, significantly reduced the size of the federal government workforce, intensified immigration enforcement operations, and deployed National Guard troops to several American cities. A controversial move that critics argue oversteps normal presidential authority over domestic law enforcement. His administration also passed a large tax and spending package through Congress. Supporters argue these fast, sweeping actions reflect a president delivering quickly on campaign promises, while critics argue the pace and scope of these changes have bypassed normal checks that usually slow down major government decisions. His term has also included several notable moments on the world stage. In July 2026, Trump became the first sitting American president to attend a Men's World Cup final, hosted that year in the United States. He has also remained closely involved in diplomatic efforts related to the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, including direct conversations with Russian President Vladimir Putin about potential paths toward ending the conflict, though a lasting resolution has remained difficult to achieve. His second term has not been without difficulty. His public approval ratings have fluctuated and, according to many polls, moved below 50% for extended periods, particularly connected to public concerns about the economy and cost of living. His administration also faced significant public pressure and criticism related to unreleased government files connected to Jeffrey Epstein, a wealthy financier who was previously connected socially to Trump and who died awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges in 2019. Many Americans across the political spectrum have demanded greater transparency regarding these files. Trump's presidency across both terms has consistently divided public opinion sharply. His supporters describe him as a strong, plain-speaking leader who challenges a political establishment they believe has ignored ordinary working Americans and who has delivered on promises regarding trade, immigration, and economic policy. His critics describe him as a divisive figure who has weakened democratic institutions, spread false claims about elections, and governed in a way that concentrates unusual power in the presidency itself. Both of these views exist strongly within American society today, and reasonable people continue to debate them vigorously. Here are a few important facts to remember from today's story. First, Trump built his early public reputation primarily through real estate development and later through television entertainment, rather than through a traditional political career, a background almost entirely unlike that of any previous American president. Second, his first presidential campaign in 2016 succeeded despite most political experts predicting he had little chance of winning, a result that led many analysts to rethink how they understood modern political campaigns and media coverage. Third, his time in office across two separate terms has included significant legal and political controversies unprecedented in modern American history, including 2 impeachments and a criminal conviction, events that have tested how American institutions respond when a sitting or former president faces serious legal challenges. Fourth, he remains, according to nearly every measure, one of the most consequential and most polarizing political figures in recent American history, someone whose actions continue to shape political debate around the world, not only within the United States. It is worth remembering, as with our story about Vladimir Putin, that this account does not try to tell you whether Donald Trump has been good or bad for the United States or for the world. Millions of people hold strong, sincere opinions on both sides of that question, based on different values, different priorities, and different interpretations of the same events. What this story tries to offer instead is a clear timeline of what actually happened, so that as an English learner and as a thoughtful person, you can form your own careful opinion based on facts, rather than on rumors or exaggeration from any single side. Now it's time to learn vocabulary from today's story. Developer means a person or company that builds and manages properties. Example, his father was a real estate developer. Bankruptcy means a legal process for someone who cannot pay their debts. Example, some of his companies filed for bankruptcy. Candidacy means the state of being a candidate running for office. Example, he announced his candidacy in 2015. Nomination means being officially chosen to represent a party in an election. Example, he won the Republican nomination. Impeach means to formally accuse a government official of serious wrongdoing. Example, he was impeached twice by the House. Acquit means to officially declare someone not guilty. Example, the Senate voted to acquit him. Indictment means a formal legal charge against someone. Example, he faced multiple criminal indictments. Conviction means a formal declaration that someone is guilty of a crime. Example, the trial ended in a conviction. Tariff means a tax placed on goods imported from other countries. Example, he imposed new tariffs on imports. Executive order means an official instruction from a president that has the force of law. Example, he signed many executive orders. Polarizing means causing strong disagreement or division between people. Example, he remains a polarizing figure. Transparency means being open and honest without hiding information. Example, people demanded more transparency about the files. Try to use these words in your own sentences. This will help you remember them. Now let's practice speaking together. Repeat after me at a natural intermediate pace. Trump built his career in real estate and television. He entered politics as an outsider in 2015. He won the presidency in a surprising election. His first term ended with significant controversy. He returned to office after winning again in 2024. His policies continue to divide public opinion sharply. His story remains a major part of world news today. Practice these sentences a few times. This will help your pronunciation and your fluency at this level. Thank you so much for listening to this story today. I hope it helped you practice your English while thinking carefully about a complex and significant political figure. Now, I have a few questions for you. What part of Trump's story surprised you the most? Why do you think someone with no political experience was able to win the presidency? How do you think historians will describe his impact 50 years from now? Please write your answers in the comments below, and please keep your comments respectful, even when you disagree with each other. If you found this story informative, please like the video, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more English learning stories. Take care, keep learning, and see you next time.